we really need is you got to move away from believing that these public schools. Thank you, Bernard, for mentioning public schools. I think that's a great place to start. Public schools are not. They're not terrible. They're not. I'm not saying you got to take your kid out of public school. What I am saying is that there's nothing in a public school that I've ever seen that really prepares you for the battle that you're about to begin. The weapons that you need in order to compete effectively as a black person in America are the weapons and tools that you will get from the community. Or maybe your child can get it from coming to listen to people like myself, Dr. Claude Anderson, or many of the other black thinkers that are out here that really care about what happens in the community. And so ultimately, when you're talking about harnessing the power of sports, you need a couple of things in terms of black people really taking control of the things that we produce and create for others. Here's the deal. To make money in, say, filmmaking, it's broken down into three components. And when Lene Javette comes in, the business strategist, I'll have her address some of these three components. It's production, distribution, and monetization. Somebody typed in the chat. Production, distribution, and monetization. Because somebody typed that in so we can all be on the same page. Production, distribution, and monetization. So if I want to make a movie, and I want that movie to make $1 billion, I gotta produce the movie. Means I get the actors together, the script writers, and all that stuff, and make a great movie. Then I gotta distribute the movie. I gotta get it out there. Maybe I get it through a streaming service, or I get it in store shelves, or whatever it takes to get it out there. And then I gotta monetize. I have to convert the customer. I have to find some way to make money from this thing that I've done. Black people are pretty good at the first of those three things. We are very, very good at production when it comes to whether it's entertainment or sports. We can sing like nobody's business. We are the best songwriters on earth. We are the best dancers that there ever was. We're the best basketball players on the planet. We have all the talent in the world, and we can put together a production that will rock your ass, right? But the problem is that we're weak in the last two areas. That's where the white man comes in and gets all the money. So the white man comes through the hood. He sees a bunch of black dudes rapping on the corner, just rapping like nobody's business. Beatboxing, like just flowing like nothing. Because there's nothing that creates that breeds creativity more than extensive amounts of trauma. Right, so you're singing to just get it out. You go to church and you're singing to Jesus because your life is so terrible. And so the white man comes through the church and he sees the next Whitney Houston, and he says, "Oh my Lord, I want to give you a record deal. So come sign with White Man Records, and we're gonna make you famous." So because you've only thought about the distribution piece, there's nobody there talking to you about. Excuse me, you've only thought about the production piece. There's nobody talking to you about distribution or monetization. Well, you're excited. You're like, "Oh my God, I get signed with White Man Records. He's gonna make me famous." So you end up, unfortunately, you could end up in a dilemma similar to, say, I don't know, Megan Thee Stallion, right? Megan Thee Stallion wanted to be famous. She signed a record deal. Now she's mad that she signed the record deal that got her famous because she wasn't able to really think about the all pieces of the puzzle, right? So ultimately, when you're talking about why hip hop was stolen from you, you got to look at those three pieces: production, distribution, monetization. We produced the best rappers ever. When they went to the South Bronx and saw those guys rapping, they're like, "We never heard anything like this before." So somebody shows up and they said, "Let me get three black guys who can rap." And they threw them together, formed, I guess it was the Sugar Hill Gang. And next thing you know, is hip hop, a hip to the hip, the hip a hop, and you don't stop a rocking. And they're making millions of dollars, billions eventually. And we mad. We like, "Man, that's our money. You took our money." But the problem was you were not in a position to protect your money because you didn't have two things that you need to protect your money. You didn't have the knowledge of the whole process. Russell Simmons had that. He's the only one, as far as major people in the hood at that time, that really had that. When he goes and signs Curtis Blow, he signs his brother Run. He just threw his brother in the group and said, "Okay, let's create a group. It's gonna be called Run DMC. Y'all gonna wear black sweatsuits, and you gonna have this kind of attitude. The king of rock that is not high." Literally, we're so talented that you could create like amazing groups just by gathering dudes off the street. Like the Motown did it. The Sugar Hill Gang. Again, these were not even guys that were really deep on the hip hop scene. A lot of rappers didn't even know who these guys were. They're like, who are these dudes? She grabbed them off the street. Run DMC, I mentioned that. Snoop Dogg, I think, isn't Warren G like Snoop Dogg's cousin? And didn't Dr. Dre meet Snoop because they lived on the same block? Like it was something. So that could have happened on any block, right? So ultimately, what I'm saying to you is you got to be able to see the whole picture. And the way you see the whole field in economics is you have to sort of be trained on that, right? I would argue that because other people have less talent than us, they're not raising their kids to say, okay, this is how you get rich. You're going to go and play in the NBA or the NFL or get a record deal. They're telling their kids, go find the talented black person who's good enough to get a record deal, and then you become the manager. So, you go find NWA and you're Jerry Heller. So Jerry Heller has access to a couple things. He ain't gonna rap. He ain't never been on an album. But Jerry Heller understood the last two pieces. He understood distribution. He said, I can make you famous. I can get you in front of the whole world. He also understood monetization. I can get you paid to rap. So ultimately, if we can fill in those last two pieces of the puzzle, then we win. We get to control the whole process from the beginning to the very end, as opposed to producing the best content in the world and then handing it over for somebody else to make most of the money, right? Do you follow what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So Dr. Anderson is also, so he's not just saying that we want to control the entire process, but also we want to control all related businesses that benefit from the process. Again, black economics has to be a team sport and a package deal. So that means that when you're talking about some kid from the hood growing up and becoming the best basketball player in the world, or the best rapper on the planet, or whatever it is that people do, there's always going to be another one next year. There has to be some sort of game plan that says, okay, well, my sister is an accountant. My cousin has a business. We also, my friend that went to Harvard University, who knows how to run a business, who's super smart, is going to help me to leverage the relationships that I'm making now that I'm in all these spaces, these white faces in high places. I'm going to leverage all of them. I'm going to shake all of them down to some extent and make them show you that they love me. Show me that they love me. You say you love me, Bank of America? Okay, fine. Well, you provide $10 million in financing for me and my team, because we're a package deal, to be able to go out and really help as many people as possible. So again, a simple gameplay is like, it looks like this. What if you had a coalition of say, the top 20 or 30 athletes in the NBA, and they all got together and said, we do not believe that you care about us unless you show us. And the way you show us is you support what we're doing right now. And what we're doing right now is we are passing the ball back to the community. We want to form a $5 billion fund, $3 billion fund, that not with our money, but with your money, Apple and and all these corporations, McDonald's, all these companies that say you love us, you put money into this fund, right? And we're going to take this money, and then you give control to us. Again, that's how you tell. See, remember, there's a difference between somebody loving you and somebody caring about you. It's easy for someone to love you because I can love a horse, I can love my car, I love naps, I love my shoes in the closet, right? But that don't mean I care about my shoes. If my shoes burned up, I would just get a new pair of shoes. But me caring about you means that I've engaged in the selfless act of saying that I want you to be well off, even if that hurts me. Even if it's not in my interest to hook you up, I'm going to do it anyway because I care about you. So I always tell my wife, I say, babe, I don't just love you, I care about you. Which means that if something happened and I died and I knew that there was another man that could make her happy, I said, I bless you beyond the grave to know that if something ever happens to me, I want you to move on and be happy because I don't just love you, I care about you. So what am I saying? Where am I getting at with this? Well, okay, white allies. We got these people out there that call themselves our allies. Well, if you're my ally, I don't want you to just love me. I don't want you to just tell me Black Lives Matter. I don't care about that. I know my life matters. I need you to show me that you really care about me. And the way you show me you really care about me is give me control, complete control of massive amounts of resources that I can do whatever I want to do with without your intervention whatsoever. Hand me the money, write the check, and walk away. I don't want you at the meetings. I'm not even going to tell you what I'm going to do with the money. Your involvement is no longer needed. McDonald's once you write that check, right? So then you have the athletes, right, who connected now. This is the power play. You're connecting the power with the brain power. So they're connecting with all the Boyce Watkins types in the world. Let's say that. Let's throw that out there, right? I'm not putting myself in there. I don't care if I'm at these meetings or not. I'm really trying to set up for the next generation, right? But they're gathering all the Boyce Watkins types, and the athletes are getting together with them. They're saying, look, we shook down all the banks and corporations and all the sponsors, and they've helped us come together with a $5 billion fund for the Black community. Now, what we need y'all to help us do is figure out what to do with this money, right? And here's the deal. You've got tens of thousands of Black people out here who will never be famous, who know what the hell to do with that money. You know where they at? They're right here in this room. Some of y'all in this room running a hell of a damn good business with no funding whatsoever. They went to the bank and applied for several loans and can't get 20 grand from the bank, right? But you still making it work. A lot of y'all in here got degrees. I understand. I know my audience. I know the people that follow me. A lot of y'all are very educated. Some of y'all didn't go to college, but you're still educated. That's why you're here, right? So you're the people that they should be working with, right? They bring together this fund. They say, hey, y'all, we got $5 billion untouched. They're not with no intervention whatsoever. We can do whatever we want with this money. Well, the experts in the community are the ones who can say, okay, give me 100 million of it. And, of course, fully transparent, right? We document everything so we know where the money's going. There's accountability when you get money. And give me 100 million and I can go educate 100,000 kids. Or I can go create a school district that covers the entire United States. I can put a top quality Black-owned school in the top 50 cities of the United States, all across the country. You're talking about, again, mass industrialization. You've moved past first grader logic of saying, well, LeBron created one school. How great is that? I love LeBron and I love his school, but one school ain't enough, man. You can't feed everybody with one plate of food. You need 1,000 schools, right? So this type of scale would allow us to create 1,000 schools, right? So now we got a school district. Lord knows we got plenty of y'all out here running white school districts. You're I'm sure somebody in this room is a school principal. I probably got some superintendents in here, so a lot of teachers, a lot of social workers and counselors. If the money's there, y'all ready to do the work. The problem is that the resources are not there. The athletes have access to the resources, but we don't need their money. What we need from them is two things. We need their platform and we need their power. We need them to go shake down these corporations that are funding these NBA games and all this other stuff. And then we need them to say, okay, once you put the plan in place and we've got 500 Black-owned schools set up all across the United States, I will use my Twitter platform with 80 million followers to tell everybody and their mama what we built so that we can generate all the revenue that we need. Because when you have people, you have money. If you understand anything about business, you know that when you have people, you have money. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest men on earth because the first thing he did when he started Amazon was he started collecting people, right? So we've got everything we need. We just have to plug the pieces together. So I'm tired of playing with these people. I'm serious. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of playing nice. I'm sick of being polite. I'm sick of waiting for people to figure it out. It's very frustrating for me because I think the answers are out there. We just have to decide that we want to implement them. Okay. So let me see here. Okay. So Lene's going to come on in a minute. All right. So let me read a little bit more, and then I'm going to bring Lene Javette in. And Lene is an awesome lady. And I told you, she's a business strategist I've worked with for years, and I have so much respect for her. So let me read a little bit more. So here's a section on page 209. This is Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. It's called Building Wealth Through Black Music. He says, much of the American popular music, from rock and roll to jazz, swing, and gospel, is rooted in Black music. Most other African art forms were destroyed by slavery or diluted to such an extent that the original distinctive characteristics were lost. But the musical aspect of Black culture survived and slavery has prospered. Sorry, scratch that. The musical aspect of Black culture survived slavery and has prospered. Sorry about that. Though many Black individuals have become successful as artists, they have failed to fully access or control the money generated by the music industry. They have not had a strong presence in the production, distribution, marketing, or sale of music, or the related legal or business work. Black music is the basis for one of the world's wealthiest industries. It has a unique role in popular world culture. The wealth and power of the music industry offer the most compelling reasons for blacks to recapture control of the cultural resource. The roots of black music and dance. White society's interest in black culture and musical art forms is deeply rooted in history. They've been fascinated with you for a long time. They've always loved black musicians, not just recently. Whites were fascinated by African customs, especially native dance and song. The black Africans' physical movements were rhythmic, uninhibited, and sensuous. Whites found their dancing, singing, chanting, cries, and other sound effects compelling, erotic, and emotionally stimulating. Whites liked to observe blacks performing, not only because black art forms conveyed a sense of contentedness, but because whites were entranced by the black style. They liked what they saw, they liked what they felt, and they found ways to manipulate it, control it, imitate it, and make money from it. Kim Kardashian. The conversion of African music to New World or Black American music began aboard the slave ships as the music was transformed in response to the horrible conditions of enslavement. The slaves expressed their physical and psychological pain through song, music, and dance. Captains of the slave ships gave slaves opportunities to sing, dance, and express their sorrows. These releases of emotion were like a drug that raised the slave spirits and burned off surplus energy, quelling. This is tragically terrible. This really makes me angry to read this. It burned off surplus energy, quelling pent-up hostilities that represented a constant danger to their white captors. During the long voyages from Africa to the New World, both the slaves and the crews looked forward to these release rituals, which became known as dancing the slaves. For added enjoyment, some slave ships provided musical instruments such as tambourines, harps, fiddles, and banjos for the slaves. Ships without musical instruments often permitted slaves to make music by using pots and pans. The most commonly used accompanying sounds were vocal harmony, hand clapping, or foot stomping. The long voyages and brutal conditions generated deep emotions in the slaves, who modified their traditional African songs, music, and dances to convey how they felt about their forced voyage from Africa. The white slave traders were fascinated by the emerging new sounds and dances. Let's see here. In the New World slave markets, the slaves retained and continued to modify their music and dance heritage. European settlers began to openly express their interest in slave music. Some plantation owners gave slaves musical instruments. The gifts were investments that provided entertainment as well as profits. Advertisements for slaves sometimes touted musical and dancing talents because such skills increased a slave's value. Did y'all know that? The slaves were more valuable if they could sing or dance. By the Revolution, well, it's kind of still true today, right? By the Revolutionary War, the Virginia Act of 1776 called blacks into military service to be employed as drummers and fifers. In rural plantation areas, slave musical performances were the primary entertainment, and dancing was the favorite form of recreation. Throughout the South, slaves played fiddles, banjos, and drums at their masters' special plantation balls. Whites developed an appetite for the distinctive way that blacks played the jig and other Negro tunes. Doesn't it? I mean, this really, I want you to connect this to how white people respond to hip hop music. The same thing. A lot of these Negroes don't even know that they just dance in the jig. They just think they're doing something different. No, it's the same minstrel show. It's the same process. So anyway, enough of that. So the point here, and before we move to our lovely guest for tonight, Miss Lene Javette, the one and only, I want you to just kind of understand what I'm picking up from this chapter. This is page 210, Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson, which you can get a copy at powernomics.com. What I want you to just really see is all of the potential that exists within your community. That's the point. If you talk about increasing our business knowledge, our understanding of economic systems, our understanding of how industry works, that's going to be a major play because the unity is already growing. I see a lot of athletes and entertainers who want to help. I got an Instagram. I never checked my Instagram messages, but I looked at one and I got it a year ago. It was from Rajon Rondo, who I think he plays for the Lakers or maybe plays for somebody else now. And he messaged me and he said, why do you think athletes are sellouts? And he was mad. He was fired up. And I love the fact that he was fired up because that means that he cares. People who don't care don't get fired up. He felt offended that I even suggested that athletes or something. I said, no, I didn't feel that way. But I loved it. I love the fact that, and this is not just true with Rajon, there are lots of other athletes who feel the same way. They really, I think, want to do better. And I think in order for us to do better, we have to know better and teach ourselves better, right? So that's maybe a good segue into Miss Lene Javette, because Lene is one of the best business strategists that there are, one of the smartest Black women on the face of the earth. And I want to start off by asking Lene, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm the first Black woman on the face of the earth. That's excellent.
Oh, let me just tell you, I've worked with Lene for years. I think we've been working together since, what, 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming up on a 10-year anniversary pretty soon.
Yeah. And you're really good at what you do, and you're a hard worker and very solid, very detail oriented, and also she's really good at managing relationships. And I've told you this in private, but I think it's important that I say it publicly so people know this. Lene is one of the best people I've ever seen in terms of understanding all the soft skills necessary to succeed in business. And so I did that. I took that special step of inviting Lene into this sacred space. So we're bringing her into the church, y'all. So I hope y'all will greet her and hear her out. She has something going on called the Black Pow Her Conference, HER. And I really think you guys are going to be really impressed with it. So, Lene, maybe if you want to just tell us about it, and I'll even pull it up on the screen so you guys can kind of see what she has going on with this. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, hello, good evening, everybody. B1, I see it in the chat. We all here, we family, cousins. Yes, so I have this event. It's called the Black Power Her Business Conference. And first, I want to just say that I believe that economic empowerment for our community is going to come through entrepreneurship. And because I feel that way, number one, and number two, I believe that we are some of the dopest people in the world, right? We have some of the freshest businesses in the world. We get a bad rep in the streets, but our businesses are not bad, right? And so I wanted to create an opportunity where we can have a holistic conversation around business. I spend off is off conversation. We're going to talk about money, or we're going to talk about sales, or we're going to talk about funding, but never everything all in one lump sum. And that's what business is. Business has various pieces that cause it to operate. And if you don't address all of them, then you're kind of walking around here with Band-Aids in different areas of your business. So in order for us to be powerful, I wanted to create a conference where we talk about funding, getting business credit, crowdfunding, bootstrapping, because I know that Black entrepreneurs struggle in the financial area. I wanted to talk about protecting your financial assets because there's intellectual property we're not properly protecting. You'll notice I have the TM on Black Pow Her and not this registered R. And sometimes the entrepreneurs don't know the difference. For example, I had to pay to get the TM. My lawyer, who's to get the R, she'll be there. She's going to talk to you guys about intellectual property, how to protect your intellectual assets. Talking about taxes. Black folks, we don't always do our taxes right. I mean, you want your taxes to be done right. So we're going to be talking about that. And we don't price right. I'm tired of seeing Black people discount their products, goods, and services. If you have a legit quality product, you should be paid like you weigh. And so we're going to talk about how to price your products, how to pitch your products, how to close your sales. I got some powerhouses that are coming through to talk about sales. We're going to be talking about how to build an unforgettable brand in marketing. And what does that look like? Dr. Boyce always talks about my brand. He was like, your brand is always so nice, so sophisticated. There's a strategy to that. And I want to make sure that Black business owners have a great brand and they know how to market themselves. We're going to talk about social media, what should you be posting. I'm going to do a keynote on white labeling. So for those of you that either have a business or don't have it, but would like to have a business around a product, I'm going to talk about that. It's an untapped market in the Black community. We're running around trying to recreate the wheel. You can literally create a product with a white label tomorrow. It's super simple. We're going to talk about the profitable team, but all aspects, because everybody's not at the same place. So if you're a solopreneur, there's a way to have a team. You can outsource. If you actually have a team or there's people who want to work with you and volunteer, what does that look like? Or if you're going to hire somebody. One of my girlfriends, she has a multi-million-dollar trash company. She's going to come through and talk about what it's like to have a team. She lives bi-coastal. And so she has a team in the East Coast and a team on the West Coast. And she's going to talk about what that's like. But I didn't want to forget the people who are just starting a business or thinking about starting a business. So we have creating a life-changing side hustle. What does that involve? What does that take? What should you be looking at when you're transitioning from the 9 to 5? Just the stuff that I wish somebody had told me when I got started. We're going to be talking about increasing cash flow with multiple income streams, because that's the Black entrepreneur struggle. They say do one thing and do it well. And I agree with that. But you can take one thing and do it 6 different ways, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about how you can take that one thing and do it 6 different ways. Can you turn that into a book? Can you turn that into merchandise? Can you make it a product? Is it passive income? Can you become a speaker? Like, there's all these different ways that you can increase your revenue, diversify your. We're going to talk about my favorite, making money from an online course or digital product. I see Anthony Ruffin is in here. He said Lene is the GOAT. So I'm going to talk to you guys and show you guys how to create a product digitally, whether it's a course or a digital product. Anthony went through Course to Currency when I did it. He has a dope school. We're going to actually be showcasing it at the conference, so you guys get to see his school. And then we're going to talk about the spirit of an entrepreneur. Queen Vicky Diller is going to come through and really just bless the people in the audience with what it means to be an entrepreneur. What is that spirit all about? The mindset, how to get prepared and really put yourself out there. So I'm super geeked. Like, I was telling Dr. Boyce, I was literally in the shower. I've been telling him I want to do a business conference where we're talking. And let me tell you, I haven't even hit customer experience. There was no room for it. I can't even talk to you guys about sponsorships, because I've raised over $25,000 in sponsors for my events. Like, I wish I could tell you guys how to get other people to pay for your events. There was no room for it. I can't even talk about nonprofits, but I'm going to do another one where I can come and bring some more stuff in. But these were kind of some of the biggest issues that I'm seeing Black entrepreneurs struggle with right now. And so I wanted to put this conference together. I came up with the concept in the shower. Black Pow Her. I wish I could do Black Pow Him one day, maybe.
Let me say this. Some of you were asking for the link to join. I think, and the reason I think tonight is important is because you have actually one more day to get. I said 48% off, but actually I think you gave 50% off the general admission fee for the conference. It's going to be March 5th and 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so the link is actually in the chat, everybody. And also, if you don't see that link, if you just go to boycewatkins.com, I put a link up on my page, and that discount ends tomorrow night at midnight. And so that's important. And then also, I think I'm wondering, Lene, I mean, to me, Black Pow Her means all the speakers are women. But what if I'm a man and I just want to support and I want to pick up the game from the women? Is that something that's allowed, or men just blocked out completely?
Yes. Because I am the type of a mentor, teacher, coach, whatever you want to call me, strategist, who has a decently even male and female audience. I'm actually like 49-51. So I never, tell my brothers that they can't show up. So Black Pow Her, it is a powerful panel of Black women. But if a brother feels like he can come in and learn and there's cool to learn, he is more than welcome to come in and learn and engage and get this knowledge we're about to be dropping.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the idea. I like the idea of Pow Her, because I've made no secret of the fact that I think as a community we have to be real clear about supporting our extraordinary women and what they do. I think that's something that I've seen people kind of go back and forth about that, right? Sometimes there's like a little bit of a weird gender awkwardness where sometimes you see some conflict, but I think as men, the same way I go places and I'll see a panel full of men and the women will listen and pay attention. There's probably a couple million women that's almost look at me like a pastor. They give me that respect. And to me, in the way I was raised is that you're supposed to reciprocate that, right? Like, why would I sit here and act like I have all the answers all the time and my wife has none of the answers when she got a PhD just like me, right? So I would encourage all the men that are in here to listen to women listen to Black women. They have a perspective. They have a right to speak in every kind of conversation. And one area where you see that disparity is, if I was to ask you, let's do this. If I were to ask y'all, who's the most famous Black male attorney that you can name? Name the most famous Black male lawyer you could think of in America in the last 20 years, dead or alive. Who would you say? I'm gonna give you a second to answer. A lot of you would say either Johnny Cochran or maybe Ben Crump. Crump is the one that's alive. Cochran is deceased, but those are kind of the top two. Now, who's the most famous Black female attorney in America? Can anybody name who's the female Johnny Cochran? Can anybody name the female Johnny Cochran? Give me a yes or no. Can anybody name the female Ben Crump? Somebody said Kamala Harris. So y'all over here clowning. Okay, maybe Loretta Lynch, maybe, but I don't know. I don't think. And so my point is to say that I just really think that men get opportunities to be elevated in ways that women don't. And I think we should just elevate each other. Like, that's what family does, right? So I'll tell you what, I'm sending my girls to the conference. My daughter is doing a hair care brand. I said, you need to be here because I need you to see how kick-ass Black women roll. And also, this is, I think, a great event for everybody who doesn't want to have to figure it all out by yourself. You know, that's a big problem. And I've seen that a lot with men and women, but I think specifically about women, where Black women, I think, have this superwoman thing that they're kind of expected to uphold and maintain. And I think it's always going to be there. I don't think the term strong Black woman is necessarily an insult, but it does carry a certain weight, and you have to know when the weight is too much. Or better yet, you have to know a better way to carry the weight. Like, you're carrying a heavy weight and you got it all on your shoulder, and they say, no, just distribute your weight a little bit better, and you can still carry the weight, but you're carrying it different, right? So if you're a strong Black woman who's carrying the world on her shoulders, that's going to kill you. But if you're a strong Black woman who's carrying the world with a team of people around you that are helping you, supporting you, and uplifting you, then you can do anything. You
absolutely can. It's one of the reasons why I put Build a Profitable Team on there, because as Black women, a lot of times we're thought to be the strongest, and so a lot of times people don't come and ask us for help. Do you need help? Can I help you? And I raised my hand. I mean, you've had this conversation before. Sometimes I'm too strong for my own good, and I won't ask for help. You'll be like, Lene, do you need help? I'm like, no, I got it.
Yep.
But you get to a place where you need to know how to ask for help, but you also have to know how to delegate, and you need to know where you can find help. And so, although the conference is going to be amazing, baby, let me tell you, this master plan, this workbook that I'm putting together for the people, that is where it's going to be amazing. I'm going to help you guys with your business model canvas, and if you don't know what that is, you ought to just go in right now and pay and get registered. If you don't know what a business model canvas is, it's going to have a 2022 goal planning, which you should already have done, but if you don't, you can get it then. It's going to have the steps to starting a business, in case you don't know. It's going to have cash flow and passive income ideas. So if you've been trying to figure out how to increase your revenue or go into business, you're not sure what to do, it's going to have a list that'll break that down for you. It's going to have a business tools for success list, because people ask me all the time, what do you use for this? How do I do that? It's going to literally have a toolkit on all the different softwares and programs that I use. It's going to have where and how to build your team. So if you're struggling to find people to work with you, I'm going to give you a guide on what to do, where to find them. It has how to build your credit guide. So if you've been struggling on business credit and you want to fund your business through business credit, it's going to actually have a breakdown on how to do that. A business budget and expense tracking, the basics of crowdfunding. It's not going to be my full crowdfunding course, but I'm going to at least give you the basics. So if you're thinking about funding a business or doing a crowdfunding campaign, I'm going to give that to you. The Mastering the Arts of Sales, I've had those ladies that are going to do some tips for you. So maybe a pitch, maybe a little script to kind of walk you through selling what you do. And then key performance indicators. So if you're not measuring the success of your business, you don't know exactly how to measure if you're on track, we're going to make sure that you have that. So literally, this is for Black-owned businesses to get to that next level. I want to have conversations with you guys that are being had in the rooms that I'm in. And sometimes, and this is not a pat on my back. This is not a pat on my back or a boast. But I'm in $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 rooms. And when I look around, I'm the only Black person in those rooms. And sometimes it makes me feel a kind of way that you have to pay to play. So I go into these rooms, I get the knowledge, and then I come back and I be like, yo, let me tell y'all what they talking about in these rooms. Let me tell you what a business model canvas is. Let me tell you how you get this business credit. Let me tell you how you do these things so that we can all be on that same level and be able to afford those rooms and going into. And I'm not saying we got to be sitting at other people's table. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you want to play chess and not checkers, you got to know how to play chess.
Yeah,
that's all I'm
right.
saying.
That's right. Yeah, and you know, and I'll tell everybody. I mean, you know, even when you talk about making the choice to go into those $5,000-$10,000 rooms, you know, when you went to college, you were in $100,000 room, but you probably didn't get $100,000 worth of value. You know, when going to college, a lot of us are trained to spend a lot of money going to school, and I think that's fine. But I really believe that the real knowledge that benefits you in this space comes from places like this, where Lene brings together people that have proven business models, and they just drop a ton of breakdowns for you, and consultation and everything else that you need to be successful. So so if anybody that wants to learn more about the conference, I know that the half off discount ends tomorrow night at midnight. I put the link on my page, boycewatkins.com, if you want to go there. Or also, I put a link in the chat that you can also click on to go directly there. And there's a lot.
Can I give them a simple? So Dr. Boyce is putting the long link. If you go, a simple link is blackpowerconference.com.
Oh.
So if you get off of here and you're like, what was it? Black Power, so POWHER conference.com. Blackpowerconference.com. Nice. And hey, Tuan, I see you just signed up, girl. Come on through now. So a couple of questions. Carolyn said, will the conference be recorded? Yes, it will. So if you register for the conference, but you cannot attend it live, it will be recorded and you will get access to the replay. So if you register for the conference, I am doing a group called the Black Power Circle. So you will get registration to the circle, which means everybody that comes to this conference, we will be able to network and grow and be powerful together after the conference. So we have our own space, our own group. We can talk about business, we can share business. We're going to be powerful together. Yes. So if you don't catch us live, you'll be able to catch us in the group afterwards. But you do get access to the replay. Somebody else asked, was this good for Canadians? If you do business in Canada, then yes, it's good for you. These are operational, strategic concepts. And unfortunately, a lot of times when entrepreneurs start their business, they skip these steps and they just get into business. And then they're like, well, how come I'm not making money? Well, how do I get business credit? Well, what's my business model? Well, how can I make more money? Because we didn't take this foundational time. And so we're kind of taking a little bit of a step back since you can take 3 steps forward. So if you are an entrepreneur, a Black business owner, and I kind of say 3 years, 0 through 7, because 0 through 7, 65% of businesses fail in those years. And a lot of that is because they don't have this information I'm going to be sharing with you guys. And so I want to make sure that you get this information so that you can get past year 7. I will be 10 years in business, full-time entrepreneur next year. Those first 7 years are very difficult. I don't know if Dr. Boyce can remember way back then.
I remember.
Those first 7 is when you need the most information, and it's hard to get it because people charge a lot. This is a $2,000 conference that basically I'm putting on. I have 20 powerful women coming to speak, and $2,000 conference that we're doing for $199 and $299 full price. Right now it's half off, so $99 and $149. But that's because I am the one. That's because I do want to make sure that you guys have the same knowledge, information, infrastructure that everybody else has.
Yes, yeah. And so to answer Shanita's question, yeah, the discount ends Thursday night at midnight. And I wouldn't have brought it to you guys in this space if I didn't believe in it. I've worked with Lene for a decade, and I have tremendous faith in her ability to deliver. She's delivered for me on many occasions. So so I have no problem endorsing what's about to happen here. I think it's going to be epic, and I'll be in the crowd too. So I think that's pretty awesome. So the link is right there in the chat, or you can also go to blackpowerconference.com. Is that right? Blackpower.
Yes, blackpowerconference.com. Okay.
All right. It is also. I also put the link on my website. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. And on that note,
answer one more question, Dr. Boyce?
Yep.
Elijah Cox, my wife will be starting her home child care business. Would this be good for her? Yes. So this information is good for anybody that has a business or anybody who is starting a business. So if you have a business, it's the information that will get you to the next level. If you don't have a business and you're thinking about starting a business, it's the information that's going to keep you from making a whole bunch of mistakes. Mm-hmm. So if you're between years 0 and 7 and you have a business, it's going to be helpful to you because you need to know marketing, you need to know branding, you need to know how you make money, you need to know different cash flow options. So if you have a business or you're thinking about going into business, this conference will be for you.
All right. So if you want to have a busyness or a side hustle or whatever it is, these experts can show you where the gold is buried. So it was great to see everybody. And next week, Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, once again, we will meet again for the book club. We're almost done with our book, Black Labor, White Wealth. Once we finish that, we'll do Powernomics. And again, blackpowerherconference.com. That's HER. So feel free to go take a look. Men and women are invited, but women will be the ones gracing the stage. And so congratulations on a great conference, Lene. And I hope everybody had a good time tonight.
Your friends too. Make sure you tell your friends, bring your friends. I had a pastor hit me up today and bought 3 tickets for his congregation. He was like, how can I pay for 3 people? And then I was like, I'll send you an invoice and then we can send it. And he did, right? Look at these split. So you can also sponsor folks.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like you, I would encourage everybody to try to find, if you have good relatives or good friends that you can learn with as a group, that's so great. A business group is a great way to come together and literally create wealth as a collective. When you're talking business with other business-minded people, you're going to come up with ideas on how to make money. And Joanne, the recordings will be available afterward. And I just encourage everybody to move forward. Whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, just do it. You got the experts out here that can show you. And this conference is a great way to do that at a very, very reasonable cost. In fact, that reasonable cost is actually cut in half until Thursday night at midnight. So feel free to go to blackpowerherconference.com, or you can also go to boycewatkins.com. I'll put the link on my site as well. So take care, guys. God bless you. Thanks a lot, Lene. All right, everybody, have a good night, and we will see y'all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.